ready to start on the corners. I've got my lid with my cans underneath to hold it up off the ground. And what we have to do is this is all nice and dry, so it's held tight. We've got a little bit of area that we haven't glued here, and we need to cut our excess material off. So I'm going to pinch this as tight as I can, hold my fingers, and just cut straight down as straight as I can. Doesn't have to be perfect because you can fix that later. And I may have left it just a little bit long. I'm going to cut some more of this off before I get started. Okay, try that again. With this side taut. Pull it around the corner nice and tight. Then pull this side around nice and tight. Put my tape there. Trying to keep this as nice and tight up here as possible too. It's not for the faint of heart. Okay. Oops. More tape. I need a new piece. Put a piece down the corner. And I'm just putting that down the corner so I have something nice, heavy to push against, and all my materials held in there tightly. And right where we start to curve down, I'm just gonna take and try to go as straight down as possible. So we're cutting through the fabric on this side and this side, and I want to make sure I've cut all the way down to my wood. Now, we're going to have a lot of cutting and fitting after this point, but it's okay. Okay, so I've got my material here cut. It's going to be to the base of our wood. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off this excess. And what I was going for was the straightest possible seam we can get when we are gluing this down. So then when we have more cutting to do, but when we take this down, these hopefully are going to line up really nice, and we won't have an overlap of our material. So next thing we're going to do, the first thing, we're going to be pulling down to get a nice curve on this. So I'm going to put glue all on my wood, make sure and get it way up as far as you can in your material back where we had glued before. I want it way up in here so it gets on there good. It's going to be messy, but okay. And we're going to want this material to be pulled down as taut as possible, and then our material is going to start coming together here. Now you can kind of see what it's doing, and we'll have a nice line, but I don't want these bumps in here, so I need to cut some of my material out. So when I make the little pleat look, then I can pull my fabric back and cut out some of that excess material in there. Just a little triangle of material so it will lay smoother. So just a little bitty triangle of material. And this is kind of nerve-wracking. You don't want to ruin your project at this point. And you may have to do it twice and waste a little material, but or you can have a bumpier corner. Now I'm gonna push that down, pull this up, and the good thing about using a material with Odie coat on it is the material is still kind of stretchy, so it's kind of forgiving. So I'm stretching this so it will meet up. There we go. Got a few little ravels on my material, so I want to cut those off. I think I'm going to put a little more glue under here just to make sure that it's adhered really well on both sides of this. Once we have our nice straight fabric line there, make sure you get any bubbles out of that excess glue we put on there. Try to curve it around. For sure want my material to line up and overlap. That's all I'm trying to do now, just make it look nice. We're set to go. Once you get your corner as smooth as you can get it, sorry about that. I saw a place I needed to tuck in here. Once you get it as smooth as you can get it, take some more painter's tape so it will definitely hold when it's drying. Pull it around. Push it down nice, round it around the corners. And leave that on there till it dries. 3 more corners to go. Okay, my corners have dried and I'm starting to work my material around the edges. So I've already got my back done. And now I'm going to be working on the front. This is our front because it's got the angled edge. And I'm going to work it around and see exactly where I think I need to be. So I'm going to pull it down in tight. Take my X-Acto knife again, get right in the corner, and I'm going to cut my material right in the corner. I kind of have to hold down and cut up to about 1/4 inch from the top, just so I have a good line there. I can cut with my scissors in a minute. I'm going to go to the other one, the other corner, do the same thing, get right in the corner, cut up to about 1/4 inch. So now we have 2 slits and we've kind of got our pattern of what we need. So I'm going to cut straight and then cut even up here and just leave that little bit of 1/4 inch on there to cover the edge of my case. I'll do the same thing here. Okay, so I've got my material pretty nicely cut to fit in there. I need glue again. I want to get it up on the edges. So everything's glued down nice and tight along the edge of your top. Okay. And I'm going to go all the way into the corners, get a bunch of glue in those corners. And I want at least like 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch of my top of my case with glue on it too. I'll cut excess material off that I don't need later after it dries. But I want at least that 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch in here, so that when we put our topper, or when we put the other part in, that we don't see any of the wood in here. So we want to leave a little bit. Okay. I'm going to roll this over, roll it down my angle. And I'm kind of rolling and stretching to get it right in the corner. And this little 1/4 inch that we left, just kind of pull that around and make tiny little pleats as you go. And you just kind of fit it to your case. It's pulling a little taut here, so I'm just cutting that so I can pull it a little easier. And all I'm doing is using the pointing into my scissors just to make sure it's all the way down in the fold. You could use a ruler or something else if you wanted. Make sure that's good and down. And you just continue working around. I did the back first so that I kind of have an idea how to show you again. And then I did the front, then I'll do one side, do the other side, and I'll be done. So just make sure as you go to your corners and you're cutting your material to go in the corners, you want to make sure that it overlaps your previous corner. If it doesn't, you may have to tape in a little piece of material in there, but it's just no pattern. You just have to figure it out as you go. So. Now that I have all my corners turned down nicely, it's all inside, I'm going to trim this up just to make it a little neater looking. Doesn't have to be perfect, but okay. And I'll just trim it up the rest of the way and make it a little neater. Okay, I have all my edges nicely cut, and I don't want to forget to mark where my handle is going to go in later. So I've stuck pins through there. I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife and cut in between those pins. For later. That way, once I get my lid insert made and put that in there, then I don't think, oh no, where are the holes for my hardware? So now I know where they're at. I'm gonna go one more time. I'm just going to leave it set for about 24 hours to totally dry.